Danielle Smith is a traitor to Canadian unity.
And Scott Moe, if it's Canada's coast, it's Canada's oil. So stop pretending that Alberta owns the country.
Smith just blew $14 million on a pipeline plan with no roof, no company, no permits.
Moe yells, Canada's coast. He's right, and that means federal law and national interest decide. Today, we'll show you how both are trying to game the system and why this looks more like a MAGA starter pack.
Oh, and if you hear some festive music in the background, that's because we're still in Mexico. It turns out democracy and mariachi both make a lot of noise.
Yeah, we flew right over the US on our way here. Just felt safer that way. Between tacos and democracy falling apart, it's been quite the trip. So let's talk about Canada's own political fiesta, starting with the $14 million for a pipeline plan that doesn't exist.
Smith says her pipeline proposal will prove whether Canada works. Sure, after she locates a map and a check that isn't from taxpayers. Oh, and a single oil exec who will actually take her call.
Yep, even the oil industry's ghosting her. Enbridge says that no one's investing unless the tanker limits disappear. So far, they're just technical advisors, not backers.
She's pitching a government-funded study now and promising private money later. Carney's been clear. No outside capital, no pipeline. Projects like this have to start in the private sector. So when your pitch is too risky for pipeline companies, maybe you're the problem, Danielle.
She's funding the whole thing with public money, hoping that private investors will magically appear later. So the Proof Canada Works test is really a test of whether Ottawa will bankroll a project the market won't even touch, while she shops the story in DC.
And Mo's line that there's no BC coast, it's Canada coast? Yep, that's technically true. And that boomerangs Mo, because it is Canada's coast, so therefore it's Canada's oil, Canada's water, and Canada's rules. You don't get tidewater by shouting at geography.
Mo's suddenly Alberta's hype man. Well, I guess that's because Saskatchewan's oil rides on the same pipeline system. His dream? Alberta builds it, Saskatchewan ships on it, and Ottawa pays for it. It's a classic free ride. He calls it federal unity, but it's really a you build it, we profit scenario.
He's not fighting for national energy independence, he's fighting for export profits while preaching mega slogans while the rest of Canada's pulling together. Ontario Steel, Quebec's Hydro, the Maritimes wind ports. It's coast to coast to coast collaboration.
So why are Alberta and Saskatchewan acting like they're auditioning for Fox Business? Well, it's because every time there's talk of Canadian unity, they reach for an American script.
It's funny how their version of national unity always comes with a bill for the rest of us.
And here's the thing. None of this has anything to do with energy policy anymore. It's not about pipelines or ports, it's about headlines and sound bites.
Because every time Smith is cornered, she dusts off the same routine. Blame Ottawa, shout about freedom, and hopes nobody checks the math. Smith imports divisive U.S. talking points, while Mo just nods like he's waiting for Fox to call.
So why push a plan that isn't even on paper? Well, because it's leverage. You pick a loud fight with Ottawa, then demand they scrap the tanker ban and loosen emission rules. And then you call it nation building, so that any no from Ottawa becomes Ottawa hates Alberta. That's the real goal here, weaken the federal rules.
Their second motive is the politics and money, because nothing fires up the base like a pipeline fight. It's perfect for donors. You turn every critic into a coast blocker and you watch the contributions roll in.
And goal number 3, impress the neighbors and play tough for Washington, right? Trump's throwing tariffs like darts, so Smith is shouting tidewater or bust, meaning get Alberta oil to the ocean no matter what, just so that she can get her Fox cable cameo. It's about looking strong for DC, even if the paperwork's still imaginary.
And their fourth motive? Distraction. When the headlines about healthcare, costs, or jobs get ugly, or what about those ethics probes that always land on her desk? She pulls out the old distraction play, a shiny new national test, because if everything's a test, then nothing's a result.
So yeah, there's motive. Weaken the rules, juice the base, please DC, and drown out bad news.
And while Smith's selling her slogans, here's the part she skips. The law. Yeah, remember that thing that actually decides what gets built and where? The northern coast isn't some political sandbox. It's covered by the Oil Tanker Moratorium Act. No large crude tankers, period.
And that's not just a bureaucratic hurdle. Indigenous nations, well, they've said no for years. Their consent isn't a courtesy, it's constitutional. The right call it a veto when they lose. But the rest of us, we call it the law and shared sovereignty.
So when Smith frames it as Ottawa blocking Alberta, she's really fighting the law of the land and the people who were here first.
Every time there's progress or protection, the same crowd shows up to tear it down. Honestly, why is it always the Conservatives breaking things just so that they can blame someone else for the mess?
And thank God for David Eby. The BC Premier accused Danielle Smith of trying to bring Trump's politics to Canada through her pipeline pitch. And he's not wrong. The timing is suspicious. Carney meets Trump, and suddenly Smith's shouting about a fictional pipeline that conveniently distracts from a teacher strike back home.
Yep, Eby said her plan threatens the fragile consensus that keeps real BC projects alive. The $40 billion in LNG, port upgrades, and clean energy jobs already employing Canadians. And when he called that out, Smith called him un-Canadian. Think about that. The woman parroting MAGA talking points is accusing someone else of being un-Canadian. The irony's thicker than bitumen.
Even Alberta columnists like Don Braid say Eby's comments hit a nerve because this pipeline is pure politics, not policy. She's setting deadlines, waving flags, and giving Ottawa ultimatums time to, wait for it, the Grey Cup.
Yep, 9 laws she wants Carney to ditch before halftime. If that's not hostage diplomacy, I don't know what is.
And while she's taking her high road, Americans who'd love to annex Canada are watching these divisions like it's playoff season.
Eby's right. We don't need more imported chaos from down south. We need fewer premiers treating Confederation like a campaign rally.
Speaking of down south, let's talk about the U.S. subplot, because apparently we're doing sequels now. Keystone XL pipeline has risen from the grave for what, the third time?
Yep. Alberta's old pipeline zombie, back again with new makeup and the same bad ending. Even if Trump's smiling, experts said it would have to start from scratch. No proponent, no right-of-way, or a guaranteed shield from the next administration.
Industry wants bulletproof guarantees that no White House can actually give. Meanwhile, Smith's cheering a U.S. route while pitching a BC route. Pick a lane, lady.
And speaking of U.S. lanes, Alberta's independence crowd has been holding meetings in D.C., bragging that they're just 1 degree from the Oval Office.
Yeah, the Alberta Prosperity Project, the same crew talking about secession and a 1-page free trade deal with Trump is at it again, while Smith's out there pretending it's all about strong Alberta and a united Canada. So which is it? A strong and sovereign Alberta and Canada, or Alberta is for sale to Washington?
Good question. Because MAGA talking points seem to travel north faster than the oil ever will. Meanwhile, oil demand is softening, companies are cutting costs, and even the analysts are saying it. No one's backing these fantasy projects under the current rules.
So what's the play? Pressure Ottawa, please Trump, and dare Carney to waste political capital on a pipeline no one in the private company will touch.
So, to sum it up, Smith hands Carney a to-do list. Scrap the rules, bulldoze BC and Indigenous objections, then back a pipeline with no sponsor, all on a 5-week clock.
And if he won't, she says Canada doesn't work. She's literally holding Ottawa hostage for national unity and testing how far she can push it before Ottawa flinches.
And notice the timing, right? Every time she's cornered at home, the teacher strike, healthcare inquiries, she picks a fight with the country. That's the Trump school of politics. Create chaos, claim victimhood, and then call it patriotism.
But Carney didn't bite. He stayed calm. He said projects need real investors, real partners, and real consent, which is how grown-ups govern.
She's banking on outrage. Carney's banking on evidence. And that is the real difference between leadership and performance. Because, well, Smith's busy chasing headlines, the rest of the country's actually out there doing the work.
Right. Real nation building doesn't happen in press conferences. It happens in projects that exist and that are being created. So let's talk about what Canada actually needs.
Those real projects. Grid build-out, port upgrades, carbon capture where it passes safety and economics, critical minerals, and Atlantic wind.
Canada works when we follow one set of rules, respect nations, and stop letting premiers run Ottawa by press conferences.
We'll say it again. Mo's right. It's Canada's coast. But our addendum? It's Canada's oil and Canada's choice. You want a test of whether Canada works? Well, stop auditioning for cable news and start governing.
Because Canada doesn't fail when one premier throws a tantrum. It fails when the rest of us stop calling it out. So yeah, it's Canada's coast, Canada's oil, and Canada's future together. And it belongs to all of us, not whoever yells the loudest.
So here's the real headline. Danielle, Canada's moving forward with or without you.
And if you all want to see how a real leader works, check out our video on the Carney-Trump meeting. It says everything about where Canada's headed.
Like, subscribe, ring that bell, and join the A-Team to keep this channel independent and going.
Because contrary to popular belief, we're not funded by the Liberals. We're funded by Canadians who care about the truth, like you.
Canada's coast means all of us, not just the premiers with the loudest microphones.
We're living in scary times and Canadians need to stay united. The Moes, the PPs, and the Smiths of the world, they're trying to tear us apart. But let's show them that Canada is one nation strong, and we are going to keep our elbows up.
Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.